Imagine that the day is ending in London in 1888. Rain taps softly against stone and glass. Somewhere beyond the buildings, wheels pass over the street and a horse moves at an unhurried pace. A few lamps give the wet road a quiet amber color. You are not visiting a famous house or following a celebrated person. You are an ordinary worker near Fleet Street, carrying the tired feeling that comes after a long day of work. This is a gentle story about a fictional composite, not one real person's evening. First, you will learn 5 useful modern English expressions. Then you will hear them again in a calm, everyday setting. Breathe. Nothing needs solving tonight. Listen to the rain, the distant wheels, and the small sounds of a city settling into evening. Our first expression is call it a day. When you call it a day, you decide that your work or activity is finished for now. It does not mean that the whole day has disappeared. It means that you are ready to stop doing one thing and continue another time. People often use this expression after a task is complete or when they have done enough for one day. It can sound friendly and practical. You might say it at work, at school, or after cleaning your home. It is a simple way to say, let's stop here. Here is a modern American English example. We finished the report, so let's call it a day. In this sentence, the report is finished and the speakers are ready to leave their work behind for now. In our story, the expression will appear when the printing shop grows quiet. Remember, call it a day means to stop working or stop an activity for the present. Our second expression is earn a living. To earn a living means to get the money or support you need for daily life by doing work. The work may be physical, creative, technical, or caring. What matters is that it helps you support yourself or your family. We often use this expression when we want to speak about work in a broad human way. It does not focus only on a job title. It reminds us that many ordinary tasks help people keep their lives going. It can describe one job or a few different types of work. Here is a modern American English example. She earns a living by repairing bicycles. The woman repairs bicycles, and that work provides her income. In the story, you work in a small printing shop near Fleet Street. Remember, earn a living means to support yourself through work. Our third expression is make ends meet. This means to have just enough money for the things you need. It often suggests that a person must be careful with spending. The phrase does not always mean someone has no money. It means that the budget matters and choices matter. It is useful when daily costs need attention. People may make ends meet by cooking at home, sharing costs, choosing simple plans, or waiting before buying something extra. The expression is gentle, but it can also describe a real pressure in everyday life. Here is a modern American English example. They cook at home to make ends meet. They are choosing a less expensive way to eat so their money can cover their needs. In our story, you will choose a simple supper after work and make a careful choice. Remember, make ends meet means to manage with the money you have. Our fourth expression is dimly lit. A place that is dimly lit has only a small amount of light. You can still see, but the light is soft, weak, or partly hidden. A hallway, restaurant, street, or room can be dimly lit. This expression helps us describe a mood as well as a visual detail. A dimly lit place may feel quiet, private, old, or restful. It may come from a shaded lamp, a cloudy window, or a light left on in a nearby room. It does not automatically mean that the place is unsafe or frightening. It simply tells us that the light is limited. Here is a modern American English example. The hallway was dimly lit after sunset. The hallway had some light, but not enough to make it bright. In the story, gas lamps give parts of the street a low, warm glow. Remember, dimly lit means lighted only a little. Our fifth expression is settle in for the night. To settle in for the night means to get comfortable and prepare to stay in one place until morning. You may change clothes, put your things away, drink something warm, read, or simply become quiet. The important idea is that the active part of the day is ending. We use this expression for an ordinary, peaceful evening. It is not a promise that sleep will come quickly. It only describes the small actions that help a person become ready for the night. Here is a modern American English example. I made some tea and settled in for the night. The speaker made tea, became comfortable, and was ready to remain at home for the evening. In our story, the worker returns to a rented room and listens to the rain outside. Remember, settle in for the night means to get comfortable and prepare for the night. Now keep these 5 expressions in mind. In the story, they will describe ending work, supporting yourself, watching a budget, noticing low light, and becoming quiet at night. You are about to enter an imagined evening near Fleet Street. You have a paper bundle, your work clothes, rain in the air, and the slow beginning of evening. Your work clothes feel heavier now that the shop is behind you. The paper bundle rests beneath your arm, and the rain gives the evening a slow, steady rhythm. You have nowhere urgent to be, only the next small step. The last work of the day is almost finished. Inside the small printing shop, the air holds the dry, familiar smell of paper and ink. You have spent the day among stacked sheets, wooden surfaces, and the steady mechanical sounds that belong to the room. It is an unnamed, ordinary workplace. For a moment you stand still and listen. The machine sounds have slowed. A sheet of paper rests where it was placed. You wait a moment. Another worker moves quietly in the background, putting things in order without speaking much. The day has asked for attention from everyone in the room. Now the requests are becoming smaller, a tool returned to its place, a loose sheet gathered from a table, a door checked before it is closed. You smooth the front of your work jacket and pick up the folded paper bundle you carried earlier. Your hands feel tired, not injured, simply used. You think about the many small actions that fill a working day. Paper is lifted, arranged, checked, and carried. Messages are made ready to travel beyond the room. You do not need to know every destination to understand that the work matters. Before you leave, you check the bundle once more. The folded sheets are dry and neat beneath your arm. A chair stands near the table, pushed back after the day's work. On the bench, a cloth lies beside a few tools. These small signs of order make the room feel settled, even while the rain continues outside. The final minutes pass quietly with nothing left to hurry. The door waits and so does the evening. This quiet work is how you earn a living. You use your time and effort to support your life. You are one person doing ordinary work in a very large city. Near the door, the sounds of the street reach you more clearly. There is a muffled roll of wheels outside, a brief call from someone passing, and rain touching the window in a thin, uneven pattern. The shop's limited light falls across the paper in soft patches. You take one more look at the work tables. There will be more work on another day, more paper, more careful hands, and more small decisions. But the evening is waiting. At last, you decide to call it a day. The words are simple. They give the ending of work a clear shape. You gather your things without hurry. The door opens and the outside air meets your face. It carries rain, street dust, and the distant presence of horses. Behind you, the printing shop becomes quiet. Ahead, the city is still moving, but your part of the workday is over. You stand for a moment beneath the edge of the building and let your eyes adjust. The evening is not fully dark, yet the sky has lost most of its color. Rain has made the stones look darker. Small pools of water hold broken reflections from windows and lamps. You pull your jacket closer against the damp air. Outside, Fleet Street is dimly lit by gas lamps. Their light reaches only part of the pavement, then fades into shadow and rain. You notice the softer glow nearest to you and let it guide your first steps. The rain softens its edges, and nearby brick walls hold the light close for a moment. The street does not belong to one kind of person. A few pedestrians pass with their heads lowered against the rain. A horse-drawn vehicle moves through the wet street at a measured pace. Its wheels make a different sound when they cross a rougher piece of road. You step aside to leave space, then continue when it has gone by. Movement passes around you. A window shows a soft square of light. A doorway opens then closes. Someone near the curb speaks in a low voice. You hear the sound without needing to know the words. The rain becomes lighter for a few minutes. You can see a little farther down the street, though the lamps still leave wide spaces between their pools of light. The city feels large because so much of it is hidden beyond the next corner. You are near a busy part of London, but you do not need to rush. The workday is over, and your evening has only begun. You walk at the pace the wet pavement allows. A carriage turns at the crossing, and its wheels carry a low sound away from you. Two people share an umbrella for a few steps before taking different paths. Near a doorway, a worker pulls a collar higher and disappears inside. No one pauses for long. The rain, lamps, and passing feet keep the street moving without hurry. You follow the same quiet rhythm. At the corner, rainwater runs along the stones in narrow lines. You watch it pass a worn step and disappear toward the street. The small movement gives your eyes something gentle to follow before you continue. You pass other buildings without naming them. It is enough to know that shops, offices, and workplaces stand close together in this part of the city. Some doors are closed. Some are still open. The street is neither empty nor endless. It has a changing number of people, a changing sound, and a changing brightness as the rain moves through the air. As you walk, your paper bundle stays dry beneath your arm. You keep to the side where the ground seems less wet. A passing wheel sends a small spray toward the curb, and you pause until it is gone. The lamp nearest to you trembles in the rain. It does not light the whole city. It gives you only enough light for the next few steps. You continue from the quieter edge of the street toward a busier crossing. The sound changes before the view changes. More footsteps gather around you. Wheels, hooves, and short voices overlap, then separate again. Near Fleet Street and Ludgate, pedestrians and horse-drawn buses share the street. A horse-drawn bus passes slowly enough for you to hear the rhythm of its wheels. You wait, then follow the people crossing after it. No one gives you a signal. You watch the space between vehicles, listen for the horses, and move when the road opens. It is an ordinary skill in a crowded city, paying attention without making the moment dramatic. The people around you are going about their evenings. One person has a parcel held close to the chest. Another stops beneath an awning for a moment, then goes on. A small group gathers near a shop front, not in a loud crowd, but in the loose way people come together when rain makes a narrow, dry place useful. You see movement, not a single story. Each person may be going home, returning to work, meeting someone, or simply passing through. You think again about what it means to earn a living. In a city like this, many kinds of work move through the streets after daylight fades. Some people carry goods. Some close doors. Some offer services. Some have finished one task and are beginning another. You know only your own tired hands and your own paper bundle. That is enough. For a while, you walk beside a line of buildings where the lamps are low and the windows are brighter than the street. The contrast makes the pavement feel dimly lit even when a lamp stands nearby. Rainwater catches the light and turns it into thin, unsteady lines. You step around a deeper patch of water, then hear a horse shake rain from its coat somewhere close by. There are hints of street trade in the evening, a voice calling softly, a covered tray, a person waiting beside a doorway. The passing figures remain part of the street's broad, changing movement. Your stomach reminds you that the day has been long. You have no desire for anything grand. You want a meal that is simple, warm enough to be welcome, and within your careful budget. At the next opening in the crowd, the street briefly feels wider. You look back once toward the lamps behind you. The printing shop is no longer visible, but the idea of it stays with you: paper, work tables, quiet hands, and the moment when the day ended. Then you turn forward again. Somewhere nearby, there may be a modest place to find supper. You slow your steps and follow the warm smell of food toward a covered edge. You look for something plain and manageable after work. The rain has made people gather closer to doorways and covered edges. You see signs of food being offered, but you do not study every detail. Under a covered edge, you choose one simple meal and carry it away. You choose the simple meal because you are trying to make ends meet. You need food, you have other needs as well, and you make a careful choice. Ordinary work asks you to consider how far your resources must go. You find a spot where you can stand out of the direct rain. Steam rises briefly in the cool air, then disappears. The first bites are simple and warming. You eat slowly while the street remains busy around you. The warmth of the food reaches your hands first. You take another slow bite and listen to the rain above the covered edge. For a little while, the meal gives the evening a simple center. As you eat, you watch rain gather at the edge of the roof above you. A passerby moves quickly through the wet street. Another person pauses, then continues. The lamps make pale circles on the pavement. You notice how people use the same street in different ways. One person is leaving work. Another is still working. Someone is carrying food. Someone else is waiting for a vehicle. You finish the meal without ceremony. It has done what you needed it to do. The small pause gives your body a little rest after the printing shop and the walk through the crowd. You fold the empty meal wrapping and keep the street in view. The rain is softer now, though the air still feels wet. You hold the wrapping carefully and take a moment before returning to the rain. You rest before moving on again. For a moment, you consider whether to stay beneath the shelter longer. Then you decide to continue. A rented room is waiting somewhere beyond the brighter part of the street. It is the private place you return to after an ordinary day. You keep the empty meal wrapping until you can dispose of it responsibly and adjust the paper bundle under your arm. The city continues with its low evening sound. You have eaten. You have made a careful choice. Now you have another small journey to complete before the night becomes fully quiet. The streets grow less familiar as you move away from the busiest flow of people. The city has small turns, narrow entrances, and rented rooms. Your steps slow as the sounds of the broad street become more distant. At last you reach the entrance to the place where you rent a room. You pause beneath the shelter of the doorway and shake a little rain from your jacket. Conditions varied greatly across London, and some low-income households faced crowded, damp, or poorly ventilated rooms. Your room is simply modest and limited for this evening. Inside, the light is low. A stairway rises ahead of you. You climb carefully, listening to the small sounds made by your shoes and the building around you. The public street falls away behind you and the interior grows quieter. At the top, you open the door to your room and enter. The room is dimly lit by a small source of light. It is not a wide, bright space. Rain makes the window sound louder than it did outside, while the walls hold the day's quiet after other tenants have closed their doors. You set down the paper bundle and remove your wet outer layer. The motions are familiar. You hang what you can, smooth what you can, and place your belongings where you will find them in the morning. The simple order of these actions makes the room feel more yours for the evening, even if it is only rented. You move carefully through the familiar steps of returning home. The paper bundle goes on a dry surface. Your jacket hangs where it can lose the last drops of rain. You straighten the collar of your shirt and sit down for a moment. Each action is small, but together they separate this quiet room from the street you have just left. The room lets you slow down without asking anything more. You think about the meal you chose and the work you finished. Making ends meet is not one dramatic decision. It can be a series of small choices, keeping what you need close, choosing what is useful, and leaving the unnecessary for another time. You do not know what tomorrow will bring, but you know how to finish this evening one careful action at a time. The street sounds reach you faintly through the window. A wheel passes in the distance. Rain touches the glass. Somewhere below, a door opens and then closes. None of these sounds demand your attention. They only remind you that London continues beyond the room while you become still. You sit for a few minutes without doing very much. Your hands rest in your lap. The fatigue from the printing shop has changed from movement into heaviness. You are glad that you called it a day when you did. The closed shop door feels far away now. Work has ended and the rest of the evening can be quiet. You begin the final small tasks of the evening. Your jacket is put aside. Your paper bundle is placed where it will stay dry. You check the window and listen to the rain for a moment. The room remains modest, with limited light. Yet after the noise of the street, its quiet feels welcome. You dry your hands and set a few things in order. The action is brief, like folding a garment or setting an object down in the same place each night. The light in the room leaves some corners soft and unclear. It is another kind of dimly lit space, different from the gas lamps outside. On the street, the low light guided your steps between wheels and rain. Here it asks less of you. It lets the edges of the room fade while familiar things remain close: your folded clothes, the paper bundle, the window, and the place where you will rest. You think of the shop again, but only briefly. The paper, the tools, and the slow closing sounds belong to another part of the day. Tomorrow may bring more of the same work. That is how you earn a living, one careful day after another. For now, you do not need to plan every day ahead. You only need to let your shoulders loosen and your thoughts grow smaller. Outside, the rain changes its rhythm. At times it is a soft whisper. At times it becomes a firmer tapping against the glass. Far away, a vehicle passes, and then there is nothing but the room's stillness. You are not alone in the city, but you are alone with your own quiet evening. The feeling is not perfect comfort. It is enough space to stop moving. With the window closed against the rain, you settle in for the night. You prepare your small space, place your belongings nearby, and allow the active hours to end. You lower your head, breathe slowly, and listen without trying to name every sound. The day has carried you from the printing shop to Fleet Street, through wet streets and past horse-drawn traffic, toward a simple meal and a rented room. Rain continues beyond the window as each part of the evening grows quieter. Rain gathers at the lower edge of the glass, then slips into the dark below. You let the steady sound carry your attention toward rest again. There is no need to force the night to be more than it is. The rain continues. The city continues at a distance. You rest in the pause between one workday and the next. Now we will read 5 sentences from the story. Each sentence uses one of the 5 expressions you learned. Listen to the whole sentence first. Notice the small words as well as the main expression. Then repeat after the pause. You do not need to copy every sound perfectly. A calm, clear attempt is enough. Take your time. As you practice, let your voice stay natural. Do not rush to the end of a sentence. Give the words a little space. The goal is to connect meaning and sound, ending work, supporting yourself, managing money carefully, seeing low light, and becoming quiet for the evening. These are useful ideas in modern daily English. First, ending work, at last you decide to call it a day. Next, supporting yourself through work. This quiet work is how you earn a living. Now, managing a careful budget. You choose the simple meal because you are trying to make ends meet. Now, noticing low light. Outside, Fleet Street is dimly lit by gas lamps. Finally, becoming quiet at night. With the window closed against the rain, you settle in for the night. You have practiced 5 useful expressions. If you want more practice later, return to this section and read one sentence at a time. For now, allow the words to become part of the quiet evening. The story can rest again, just as the worker rests after the day is done. The rain remains outside the window. The lamps, streets, work tables, and passing wheels are now only parts of a gentle imagined evening. Thank you for walking through this small Victorian London story and practicing English along the way. You may return to any expression when you want to hear it again. Call it a day, earn a living, make ends meet, dimly lit, and settle in for the night. For now, there is nothing more to do. Let the room grow quiet, let the distant city fade, and let this ordinary evening come to its calm close.